So let me just fire this up and just show you guys like Tokon gameplay, right? How about that? Let's go with that.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, dude. Chat's got to tell me where the heck the announcer's from. I do not know where the announcer's from, dude. So yeah, okay, so I'm just going to break some stuff down as I see it. Captain America can like kick his shield. You can like throw the shield and kick it. Oh, it's the KOF announcer. It's the KOF 15 announcer. Thank you. You are totally right. So yeah, you're going to be seeing a lot of screen/stage transitions. They happen a lot in this game. Was I playing Iron Man here? I think I was. I think I was on player 2. Yeah, because I never played Kamala, so we're just figuring it out. Iron Man's interesting. He's more of a zoner in this one. Rushing down becomes a little hard. Oh yeah, you can cancel Iron Man's like Unibeam into flight. Cap does have a DP. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of... So the reason there's a lot of stage transitions is because they are attached to gameplay. Doing stage transitions allows you to get more characters. It unlocks the rest of your team. So yeah, if you want to hear general game impressions, does the game feel Marvel versus Capcom like? Not at all. It does not. It definitely feels a bit closer to Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising, and a bit of like BB Tag and a bit of Dragon Ball Fighters, you know? It's a little bit of all of those games sort of put together. The what's it called? The air dash on some characters like Captain America is really fast. It's actually like legit better than the air dash on games like Guilty Gear Strive. But so you might notice the game is mostly like a 1v1 game. There is a team aspect to it, absolutely. But there isn't like a ton of direct incentivization for you to tag, because since you only have one life bar, DHC right here, since you only got one life bar, the only reason you're tagging to extend things is from like a combo, right? But if you have a character that you're good with, why are you changing? You know, why are you changing? Is there long combos? There is somewhat long combos. So if I get a chance, I can break this down for you. Yes. I'm going to pause this right here. So what you're looking at the top is like the hit stun gauge, and this is also the combo gauge. This gauge fills up, and then once this gauge fills up, it sort of like cashes out, and then the combo's over. So as you are like building up, you have to pay attention what your combo gauge is at, and then by the time it builds up, it will eventually like, you know, cash out, and that's it. They just pop out of the combo, you know, like Skullgirls. This is pretty much exactly like Killer Instinct. This is, for anybody that's played Killer Instinct, this is the KV meter, the combo value meter, or whatever it was called. Just pretty much just like KI. And I think different things have different values they add to the combo meter. So, what else can I say, man? What I like about the game is that there's no, like, universal mobility. Every single character seemingly has different mobility, like, across the board. The way Kamala moves around, the way Iron Man moves around. All of it, like, the way you have to move your character isn't, like, universal. So, like, trying to wave dash and stuff like that didn't necessarily, like, really work out. The movement very much felt like a Dragon Ball Fighters sort of situation. Kamala seems really good. Does hitting assist take extra from the life bar? It looks like it does. Yeah, as we played it a bit more, it does look like you lose health a bit faster if you're hitting assist as well. There's a DHC. You just press the, I think it's the assemble button right after that. Is there a combo limit? Yes. Well, yeah, there's literally a combo limit bar. So the existence of a bar means, yes, there is a limit. Dude, Kamala seems crazy, dude. She's like a ridiculous dollsum. She gets confirms from everywhere. So that was the auto combo. That's the light auto combo. Is there blink dashing? No. The movement is like Dragon Ball Fighters. Does Doom have foot dive? Not necessarily. He has a jumping heavy kick. Is there blink dashing? Bro, have you played Dragon Ball Fighters? No, there's no blink dashing. Not that I could find. Some characters have runs, some characters have dashes. Doom has a dash. I'm assuming that there might be ways to manipulate that movement just a little bit. Yeah, when you play it, if the gameplay is looking a bit slow, it is somewhat slow. You almost have to like unlock the mobility of the game through like mechanics, you know? You really gotta like play it out. Here's the best thing I can say about the demo session that I had. It took us a long time to even grasp like mechanics. It took a long time to even like get an understand, and we didn't even, I don't think I ended up using all the mechanics at all. So there was several things that we were not properly utilizing in the right way, which was like, okay, so no, we did not figure this game out in an hour. We did not. Have fun at Star-Lord. He's pretty fun. He can change the element of his guns. What are the buttons like? So this is a 5-button fighting game. And the 5 buttons are light, medium, heavy, assist / assemble, and the character's gimmick button, or they call it the unique button, you know? Which one am I? I don't remember. I think I'm the one on the right. Does assist feel odd with directions? So, assists don't feel bad, right? Assists don't necessarily feel really bad. However, tagging can be kind of tough. And your opportunities to tag in the game are pretty, like, almost limited. DHCs seem like the best opportunity for you to tag. So if you're just, like, trying to freely tag in off stuff, you can bring the assist in to do something, but, like, you have to wait for that assist to sort of become available to tag, which can take a while. That can take, like, a little bit, you know? Entries level scaling more or less like complicated like 2xKO. Pretty similar. 2xKO has a lot of 2xKO has a lot of modes in it, man. It has like a lot of different ways that you can play the game. This is defined. It is defined. The assists and where they're at always stay the same. You know, your projectile assist is always on your projectile assist, and your anti-air assist is always on your anti-air assist. Yeah, it's if you're expecting it to be Marvel-like in terms of like how full teams work together, it doesn't immediately give that feel because you have to like unlock the teams. It mostly, like, a lot of the game feels kind of like you're playing a 1v1 game with assists, you know? And that's because, like, assists take a long time to recover. You'll notice, like, this bar up here. The recovery time on some of the active assists that you use during hits or block stun, they take a long time. We couldn't figure out how to DHC into the ultimate or the level 3. We could not figure that out. But, like, gameplay-wise, it feels like really, like, the way the characters move and stuff like that feels very close to, like, Strive or Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. How does the green assemble gauge recover? It recovers just, like, over time. Yeah. I didn't see if we were able to manipulate it, but it kind of recovers over time. I don't think it felt tedious to unlock the other characters in a match. No, not necessarily. The thing is, I don't think anybody was properly utilizing the full breadth of the teams, right? When you have, like, a full team available, because you get, like, 3 assists. One thing, there is no push blocking. So, you are holding mega block strings, bro. The defensive mechanics in the game are probably my biggest concern, because when there's mega block strings, like a lot, and there is a way out of them. You have an alpha counter that costs 1 green bar. The alpha counter is just like a get off me situation. It's just like a, hey, just get off me. That's about it. But the other person, if they know you're going to alpha counter, can press there also in retaliation alpha counter. And if they know you're going to alpha counter and they get the timing, it removes your ability to use assists. So that seems like a little rough, man. It's a little like, whoa, we're getting pressured really hard, and all of a sudden, I was just like, please get off me for a moment. Oh, he called it that I wanted him to get off me, and now I can't use my whole team. You know, like, uh-oh, that's rough, bro. My whole team, where'd it go? How does the green bar recover once you use it? If you watch it, it just recovers naturally. It just, like, recharges. No, it's not like a counter breaker in KI because the reward is not offense, right? You can't, like, alpha counter into offense. It's just to get off me. The alpha counter, and even if you call it the alpha counter, it just locks out their team. So it prevents the person from being able to tag. I think best of 5 feels too long. Dude, the life bars are like Guilty Gear life bars. No. Not really. Like when we started doing bigger combos and stuff, we were doing like 50% damage, almost no problem. So the life bars are relatively like small. What does the V-shift thing feel like? So the V-shift thing, yeah, is the other defensive mechanic in the game. And I don't think we fully understood how to use it. It acts like a parry, and you can parry the opponent. So if they hit you, if they strike you during those moments, then you get like a follow-up attack. But I think you can actually add your other team members to it. Like you can actually bring in your other team members to do stuff off of that shit. So the game is extremely auto combo heavy. The nice part about it is that for anybody that is unfamiliar with fighting games, there's an auto combo on the light attacks, on the medium attacks, and the heavy attacks. So pretty much just like you do this big progressing forward like medium or something like that, and it sort of carries you forward. Is it like Dragon Ball FighterZ? It is. It's like Dragon Ball FighterZ times 3. So you have, in Dragon Ball FighterZ, you press like the light button to get the auto combo sort of happen in that way. You guys know how, I think it's in Grand Blue. You know in Grand Blue how you do like a light auto combo and you do a medium auto combo or a heavy auto combo? I think it was that way. The game has that on like almost every button. So if you want to like see cool stuff happen, you just like mash the mediums and you get a super. If you want to see cool stuff happen, you just mash the heavies and you will also get a super on the heavies, you know? But they're very tough to deal with at the start, man. Like they are all over the place. It's like, oh my god, like getting control of that stuff is kind of like, all right, I started to get the hang of it towards the end of the session. Yeah, it definitely has that accessibility. Then somebody asked, do those combos feel nice? So, you'll notice that we're doing some, like, kind of cool combos in these situations. The game literally has the exact same combo tracking as Dragon Ball FighterZ. So, if you want to get your combo to sort of, like, work in the air, it's best just to, like, mash lights or to mash mediums or to mash heavies. Because it, like, locks you to your opponent when you're in the air and you are trying to like juggle and hit them. Is there probably better ways to do that? Most likely, but nothing that we were trying to discover like the other ways to do combos, and they weren't naturally very easy. It was actually kind of hard. So the answer was like mash light, mash medium, mash heavy, and it will like fix itself. The combos naturally fix themselves. That also sort of worked on the ground as well. So when you want to get your combo, if you definitely want to make sure your combo works, at least at an early state, yeah, you pretty much hit a lot of buttons, and that will almost guarantee that the combo like functions. But there is some other stuff, like when you do the manual versions of combos, we have seen some really, really cool things that can happen. It's just like a lot of them drop, and it's like, all right, we got to figure this out, man. For example, you'll see it a lot from any of the new players. Down heavy whiffs like a lot. It landed right there, but if you do like a couple of buttons and you try to do down heavy, it was not landing. So it was like, oh, we got to find the route for this. Like, why is it so hard to get into like an air combo? You know what I mean? So yeah, it takes a little while. It takes a little like getting used to. Did you try motion inputs? I didn't. I was playing on arcade stick, so I didn't know how to do easy inputs. I was only playing on motion inputs. The thing I like the most about is actually the characters. I think like what they do gameplay-wise with the characters is pretty interesting. They have a ton of moves, man. And they have like weird gimmicks in there too. Like I said, Captain America can like reflect. That's a light auto combo, and you can combo it into super. You can like reflect your shield and bounce the shield off of like a bunch of other shit and also kick the shield back to the opponent and stuff. It's pretty dope. Is there any pros to do motion inputs? Oh, you mean like not professionals? You mean like advantages? Yeah, they do a little bit more damage, I think. Do combos feel good to do? So right now they do and they don't. And the only reason they don't is because if you want to get the result that you know is going to work with a limited period of time to play the game, my dude, you just have to mash auto combo. Which is like, I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to do that. So the good part is that at the end of that session, it was like, my feedback was, I want a training mode so bad. My feedback was, my dude, I desperately want a training mode, man. I really want to see what we can do, like, training mode-wise. So that's a good thing. How's the super dash? So you know how I said we did not understand the full breadth of the game systems? I could not find where the super dash was button-wise. I could not find it. So it was in there somewhere, but I never got to see it happen. And that's kind of like a bummer, is that I really wanted to see that. There is a universal grab input. Yeah, it was medium and heavy. So like for anybody that has like the bigger overline questions, does it feel like Marvel versus Capcom? It does not. It definitely has a completely different feel than like an MVC game. And I do kind of hope that the tagging is loosened up a bit. Like you guys will see this stuff right here. I'm going to go back just like a little bit. Check this out. So you see when Cap comes in here? So it says like X to change. And I would be like mashing the X button here and it would not change. You have to wait till this thing gets highlighted. So, and I accidentally brought in Cap because I was trying to like tag in Star-Lord, you know, or something like that. And the opportunity to tag is like very specific when you can bring in the character and tag. Yeah, it like doesn't highlight. And I'm like, oh, come on, get in there. If you just hold it, they raw tag. And the raw tag has like an animation, so you don't want to do that all the time. So the idea is that I want to bring out an assist like 2x KO, BB tag, you know, and maybe you can, but it felt sort of challenging. I think there's a way that you can do it. You can hold X and raw tag. We're not talking about raw tag, we're talking like, come in, do the assist, and I want to pass. I want to like handshake to you, like the other tag team games that are like that. But there was a bit of delay. There was a bit of like time. You have to press to assist. Trust me, I was. You have to wait till it highlights. You have to wait till like the tag thing like says you can tag. So there it was. You guys see that? Watch. Does it feel like an Arc System Works game? Yes, emphatically speaking. If you guys like modern Arc System Works games, like if you like Dragon Ball, or if you're familiar with like Guilty Gear or Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, 100%, the game definitely feels like a modern day Arc System Works game, which is going to make a lot of people happy. So you'll notice it here, just to break it down. There's the parry. So you bring in Star-Lord, right? And you might want to like immediately switch to Star-Lord, but you can't. You have to wait. He has to finish this animation. And then you saw it happen there like a half second ago. It was a very late tag. So there will be offense that you'll eventually make around these very late tags. But getting it to like, I just want to tag in and make that happen. It was tough. It was kind of hard to like tag in people without just raw tagging them in, you know? And that's one thing I hope changes. I think that part was like a bit too restrictive. It was a little bit too restrictive. It made it hard to tag, is all I would say. It felt like I was mostly playing like a 1v1 game with assists and stuff like that. Yo, Giant Bomb, thanks guys. Who's my favorite in the demo? Captain America. Cap ended up being my favorite character, man. He was very fun. He's not as like buck wild as a he's not as buck wild as like MVCI Cap, but he's like really capable and different. That is the KOF 15 announcer. I knew it, dude. Chat was I'm listening to this guy. I'm like, I have heard this announcer before, and literally it's the KOF 15 announcer. How long do we get to play? For about an hour. About an hour. Did it feel faster than you thought it was going to be? No. It felt about the same speed as we thought it, you know? How's the push blocking for chips and push? Non-existent. The game does not have push block. The game has like an alpha counter. How does Storm play? I didn't get a chance to play Storm. Yeah, no, Doom's Reflector is his gimmick, right? So every character has like a gimmick button, and Doom's Reflector is his. He can actually put it close to himself. He can put it far away, all that kind of stuff. Is there instant tag in certain combos that tag automatically? Auto combos. Yeah, like the light auto combo does all this like instant tagging stuff, but it doesn't switch your character. So, if there's one part that I'm curious if it changes, when you're playing the game, at least at like the early parts of the round, stage transitions happen very frequently. And we're kind of like, oh man, it feels like we just did a stage transition and then we'd like do another one. There's also a lot of moments in the gameplay where like the screen will stop, where like you have to do this tag thing so it holds for half a second, like all that kind of stuff. How polished did it feel? It feels like it's getting there. It feels like it definitely needs a... It feels like the gameplay-wise, there's a lot of concepts here, and it's pretty polished. It definitely has some things that probably need to be ironed out a little bit. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of moments where like the screen sort of stops and you're not playing a whole bunch, you know, and you're just sort of like waiting for things to sort of like happen. That happens a bit. Yeah, a lot of visual stops in the gameplay. That's another one of my big criticisms. A lot of visual stops. Can you combo after throws? Not that we found. Yeah, not that we found. Very experimental. Mechanics are pretty experimental. Not... So when you get into it, it's got a lot of mechanics, but it's not like that crazy. Like... I don't feel... When you're actually playing it, it mostly feels like a 1v1 game. Like, it doesn't feel like you have to fully, like, worry about, like, all of the characters on your team. Not in the first impression, right? So it feels like, oh, yeah, we're kind of playing, like, a 1v1 sort of, like, air dasher against each other. So if it's, like, the crazy, like, mind expansion, you don't get that immediately. You have to really get used to things, you know? The biggest one, the biggest one for me is that, like, if you want to tag, right? What is the purpose for tagging? Like, if you have your main character and you're really good with that character, the biggest purpose is that you want to tag to counter the matchup, right? So if I know Doom works really good against Star-Lord or something like that, you would just try to bring in Doom against Star-Lord. That would be the goal. There's no real reason to directly tag them in otherwise, because there's no health. I don't think there's any health recovery. Since you have one full life bar, you don't have to tag out a lot. So a lot of times when we're watching, you know, the majority of people that are playing the game, they're kind of just sticking with like the one character the entire time. Yeah, tag combos will definitely be a reason you would want to do them as well. But at the same point, if you're switching places with a character that may not be necessarily good in that situation, you almost would not want a tag combo. You would just want to keep it the same. Just use the assists to continue the big combo, you know? Did you find any other character similarities with their NPC counterparts? Not really, dude. No, not really. You almost have to, like, eliminate that out of your head. Yeah, like, Captain America's doing, like, jump punches and stuff, and Iron Man is doing, Bee Orchid's Dragon Punch. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, there's Doom especially is a weird one because you really got to get used to his gameplay. Does the game feel like there could be infinites? There literally can't be infinites because there is a combo gauge just right over here. There might be a way to circumvent it, you know? But there's this gauge right here. After like 8 hits, it was right around here. And once it gets to the top, there's no more combo. So they just stop being comboed. Yeah, that's pretty much what a lot of the pressure of the game looks like, is stuff like this. Where it's like light, medium, heavy, special, assist. light, medium, heavy, and then you would try to like mix up somewhere in there, you can really lock people down with that. Because since there's no push block, you just have to like go through it. If you alpha counter, you can get them off of you. Or if you predict that they're going to alpha counter, it's sort of a reaction and not a prediction. You can literally like counter the alpha counter and lock out their whole team. It's kind of nuts. Do you think they'll add push block in the first 3 patches? No. I think the game is designed around not having push block. Yes, we know that the audio is doubled over. There was a lot of capture issues at the event, chat. Is there any dash canceling or IAD? IADs exist for the characters that can do them. Captain America seemed to have like the best IAD. Dash canceling, not as much because a lot of characters have runs, you know? A lot of characters also have flight. So like Star-Lord and Doom and Iron Man have interesting flight, and you can enter flight from a lot of weird states, which is actually really cool. Any X Factor like mechanics? The only X Factor mechanic is that in the final round, you'll have access to your whole team, no matter what. Tri-dashing. So characters had tri-dashes, but they were really weird. Like if you did jumping up back with Iron Man and tri-dash down forward, it was weird, dude. He would dash so fast to the ground that it was almost impossible for an attack to come out. So, do you get access to, like, crazy tri-dashing offense? I mean, maybe. But it isn't inherently, like, super nuts. Oh, the universal overhead was nuts, bro. That was really good. The game has raw armored overhead that leads to a launcher. So... it was kind of hard to deal with, and it was hard to, I think it was hard to punish as well, because you can just call an assist and make it safe. So it was like, ah, God. That was one I wasn't using that much of, but I was having to deal with it a lot. Let's see. So by the final round, does that mean no wall breaks? I think wall breaks were still happening. Yeah. Just because you get all the characters I think just because you get all the characters, I don't think it means the wall breaks don't happen anymore. I could have swore they were still happening even though we had the whole team. Pretty much if you do like most combos at the wall break happens. And it isn't even a break. They just sort of fly through it like right here. Yeah, the stage might not loop, so you can go like back left and back right. Maybe that's it, where it's like the stage is multi-tiered. That might make a bit more sense. So we can go left at this point instead of being pushed to the right. Doing motion input specials didn't lead to an insanely obvious reward. I think it's there. I think there's a minor amount of damage, but was it like a huge reward that you get? Not necessarily. Pacing of the game felt good. Yeah. The game does feel naturally very floaty, you know, and some characters can feel sort of heavy. But I think you can tell that from like looking at it, you know. You got to get used to it. Here's an example of like, yeah, you just got to hold pressure, you know. Pretty much, it's built the same sort of like relationship with the player that Dragon Ball FighterZ did, where you're gonna have to hold these block strings, bro. Check this out, chat. Watch this. So friggin' sick, dude. So sick. Oh no, combos still seem to scale. Yeah, if you start with the light, it still scales. Was I immediately sold based on the mechanics? I felt like I needed more time with it. Yeah. I felt like I wasn't super, I felt like I wasn't insanely confident with all like the mechanical understanding and when to use stuff. I felt like I definitely needed more time with it. Will I be able to play it again? I don't think so. I don't think I'll have any other opportunities to check the game out this weekend. Is there a crush counter property? I don't believe there's a crush counter property. I didn't see any crazy like counter hit states. You know, it doesn't really feel like a strike throw game, but that does exist. It's actually technically a strike throw game because of the way that throws work. So yeah, it definitely is there, but I don't think there leads to giant counter hit states after throw. I don't think they have that. Any attacks OTG? There wasn't really like an OTG state in the game. Didn't seem like it. There was like a bouncing state where you can like, you're bouncing down back. You said tagging my confused assist orders. Is that the case? Yes, actually it is. Because when you tag, you swap places with the other one. The assist order will always be the same, but whether or not you switch Cap to the left side or the right side changes what Cap does. So if he's on the left side, he's doing like a unique assist. If he's on the right side, he's doing a projectile assist. If he's on the bottom, he's doing an anti-air. So whenever you tag in, you have to... There is definitely a lot of coordination to keep up with that. Chip damage, chip kills, can't confirm. That never happened to us. How long do matches typically last in 4v4? Well, this isn't really like 4v4. It's not a technically 4v4. So they're just round-based and with one life bar. How do you get your assist to join in? You either raw tag them in, DHC them in, or do like a late tag, a late active tag after an assist. Wave dashing? Not that we found, no. Again, the movement is very Dragon Ball focused, right? So if you play Dragon Ball Fighters and you're used to how characters sort of move around in that game, it pretty much feels like that. The air dashing is sort of similar too. Boom. Doom's jetpacks are under his armpits now. I found myself just tagging in these moments and situations just because I wanted to try a different character. Not really for like, you know, strategic reasons. It'll be much different later. Yeah, I think if you were a big fan of Dragon Ball Fighters, you'd have a very good time in this game. You'd have a very good time. How OP is the super dash? We could not figure out where the buttons were. Again, I didn't have a controller, so I couldn't like manually do it. I had to figure out what command it was, and I could never find it. There's a lot of like crossing buttons and all this stuff that you have to do to get the mechanics to happen, and I could not locate it. I was like, and again, a lot of the, what's it called? A lot of the way the game works is like contextual, like things sort of change depending on a situation you're in, I think. So yeah, like it was like, it's somewhere in here, dude. Yeah, if it's in the air, that makes sense. If it's only in the air, L and A, that makes sense why we didn't get it to work. Because again, L and A while blocking does a different thing. Forward L and A also does a different thing. So yeah, some stuff on Cap Shield's weird. If it comes back, if he takes like any kind of damage, it does not like act as a hit. It goes away really fast. Bring what combo, what ender do you see at another character? That doesn't exactly exist. Right? If you want to switch characters, you have to like assist and then tag them in after. Does anyone have meterless reversals? I think Cap's DP was invulnerable. I think it was. I think I like Captain America the most. Again, Cap had a DP motion. He had fireball forward, he had fireball back, and a down-down input. He had like everything. And also, those change depending if you were jumping in the air. Yeah. Yeah, no, Star-Lord's gun does completely different things depending on, like, one of 3 elements. So, yeah, here's an example of, like, a combo that I just did. Let's go back and review this really fast. I'm trying to find this thing. There we go. Here's an example of how, like, the combo structure of the game sort of works. So I'm playing Iron Man here, right? And... Here's an example of his air dash. So that's a crossover. Can't tag after that. I think you can like maybe late tag, maybe. So there's Iron Man's 8-way air dash, and it hit Storm. Or actually, Storm tried to do the reflect, the what's it called, the defensive move. So light combo starter, light, medium, heavy, into EX special, into Cap, pick up for assist, medium, heavy, and it broke out. So that was the end of the combo, right? So you have to, you're going to have to fill in your combo structure within something of that that space, right? So that was the end of the combo. That's the hard limit. Yeah, combos are relatively pretty short. And I don't know, I think it depends on what move you sort of do to scale in them, you know? But you have to, like, choose what to do. That was just like a ground combo with an assist and a launcher, and it was too much, right? So you got to figure out what to do. It honestly felt like a lot of the auto combos were doing really good damage. And it felt like the shorter combos just into basic super were doing really good damage as well. Kind of reminded me of like Marvel vs. Capcom 1 combos, which is just like LMH super. A little bit of that sometimes. Angelic, how did the movement feel? Have you played Dragon Ball FighterZ? Pretty much Dragon Ball FighterZ with more, a little bit more unique movement options. More flight, that kind of stuff. If you're curious in the overall totality, the movement feels like a modern-day Arc System Works game. Because it's a modern-day Arc System Works game. Game speed felt pretty close to DBFZ. In total, I think you guys can see that. Pretty much has about the same like hit stun values and stuff like that of a Dragon Ball FighterZ. But, again, like Dragon Ball FighterZ is a massive tagging all the time kind of like crazy team composition game. This really doesn't have this game. You're not going to be tagging all the time that much. You want to tag to like either switch out a character to match some offense that the other person is doing, or you want to tag to extend a combo in some way. Actually tag in. Yeah, you'd want to like bring the next character into DHC or get more combo damage, that kind of stuff. Was the character swapping confusing? I will say I never fully grasped it in the hour that I played. I was never like really able to pay attention which one I was like trying to combo into. Sometimes I wouldn't be able to call an assist and I wasn't sure why, because like all that stuff's happening in the UI up there and there's almost all this stuff happening down here. There's just a lot of mechanical like density to the game to sort of like balance and figure out why isn't this working? What am I doing wrong here, you know? And there's a lot of like tells that aren't exactly there. Yeah, and again, I don't. It might seem like it's really complicated, and I say that we did not combo into level 3. I wish Hulkbuster did something else. Yeah, I wish it did something else, and it just punches. I think I was a little disappointed by that. That the Hulkbuster looks like it's going to be this insanely cool super, and then he just like punches you. I'm like, ah, man. So again, yeah, you're asking like assists have green bar. Because you look at the start of the round, you only have access to 2 characters. Therefore, you only have access to 1 assist bar. Each assist bar sort of like represents how many like assist actions you can do. So yeah, like when you bring one out, you can't really bring that next one out until one recovers. You can bring in another one. You have to call a different assist. How frequently can you tag? You can raw tag in at any point, right? You can properly like raw tag in. In fact, now that I'm thinking of, I don't know if that would work, because that would cost meter. If you can like have one assist locked down and have another character tag in, I don't think you can do that because it's going to cost a resource. You get the rest of your team pretty fast. Yeah, pretty quick. Are there snapbacks? There's no snapback functionality in the game. It doesn't make sense for there to be. Yeah, assists are just, you call an assist in neutral, it doesn't cost anything. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think if you combo the assist, it does bonus damage to the life bar. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So here's the cool stuff that's like, that we're not really like utilizing that much. The Doom can like enter flight from things. Iron Man can do specials and enter flight from specials. It's that kind of like unique stuff that nobody could really find in the first few minutes, and I got told by a dev like later on, it's like, hey, dude, if you do Unibeam with Iron Man, hold up after, and he enters flight after Unibeam. So you can do a combo, Unibeam, fly, and then like hit buttons. I think he also has like that DP. Yeah, there it was right there. He does like this big crazy orchid DP, but you can enter flight after. So there's a lot of cool stuff that Iron Man can do. It's just like it's not obvious. He feels like he's sort of like a keep away character, but I don't love him as a keep away character. So the nice part is that like there is some unique like character gimmicks all over the place that are like that aren't the same for everybody, you know. Just need more time with it, man. So is the looseness factor close to Guilty Gear or MVC? I would, if you want my looseness factor of the game, yeah, it's pretty close to Strive. A little bit. Probably a little bit more. I don't think it's as much as a Dragon Ball FighterZ, because Dragon Ball FighterZ, like, you can do so much crazy stuff on tag in that game. So much stuff.